Muslims. But Malcolm X got famous mainly being hard on people like you, white people, white devils, you blue-eyed, blonde-headed dog. Oh, he got famous like this. And he had made so many white enemies. Whites cared nothing about Malcolm, nor so-called Negroes when he was with Donovan Elijah Muhammad, but they seemed to love and follow dead leaders, people. But he was a man, everything he had came from Donovan Elijah Muhammad. And when he denounced or was put out for various reasons of the faith, then he had to, from what I understood, this is me talking, I'll be to blame if I say anything wrong, he had to get back with you all. And in other words, he seemed to be apologizing for things that he had said because the protection of Allah and the Muslims were not with him. But I would like to say that we are told...
You think that he tried to make himself pleasing to the white community?
This is where saying this is not antagonize him, but antagonize you.
No, but you say that...
I would like to say that whites jumped right behind him. They're making a book about him. There's required reading in all colleges now, and they're making a movie about him and projecting him as the leader. And if you read his book and see the movie that's coming out, it'll make you hate Elijah Muhammad and the Muslims. Mainly, this is done to turn the black people against the real leader. And I like to say that this is the way white people rule. This is your history, divide and conquer. See, the first whites, your fathers, when they came over, they co-chiefs that running bulls stole his horses. Then after they got through fighting, they came in and took over. And whites have always put one against another. And now they have a dead man who was nothing but he admitted himself, Malcolm, was a tramp, had white women selling the body for him. He was nothing until the Honorable Elijah Muhammad made him great. Made him great. Taught him, even his name, X, come from Elijah. He gave him his name. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad was an established leader before he was born. Now you seem to try to make it look like he was a leader and he was powerful. And if I was not a Muslim or follower of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, I couldn't talk to you for 2 minutes. And I believe I can hold my own as an intelligent conversation with you. But it all comes from the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. But people praise me. Oh, you should be the leader. Well, you don't have to follow Elijah. Man, are you a fool? Everything I got come from him. He taught me who I was. He made me proud. He made me fearless. He made me love my own. I've turned down millions and to keep from selling out my people. The beautiful name Muhammad Ali. I now have 56 Muslim invitations by governments. All they ask me about when I go to those countries, how is Elijah Muhammad? White people, twice a day, 65 and 70, their bus stop in front of Elijah Muhammad's house, hoping to get a glimpse of him. And you cannot destroy me like you have other big ministers of his in the past by telling us, oh, you speak good, you should be the leader. See, this is to get me thinking that I'm smart. And as soon as I leave Elijah, you can get me. But as long as I stay with Donovan Elijah Muhammad, I'm safe. And if Malcolm X has stayed with the man that made him great, taught him everything he knew, today he'd been big, big, big. But as soon as, in other words, how can I come to your son and say you are wrong for spanking him when you fed him, you clothed him, you gave him his name, you birthed him in the world? Who am I to come in and be the judge and say, why did you spank that boy? You taught him, you have a right to spank him. And Malcolm X did some things. He said something about Kennedy that he shouldn't have said. 130 whites died tragically on a jet. He praised it. And Honorable Elijah Muhammad is not the kind of man to ordain it. So he had to spank him. And after you white people had told him how good he talked, he should be the leader, he couldn't take the spanking. He had to run out and start him a movement, and that's when you destroyed him. You understand? See? So I would say whites destroyed Malcolm X.
I understand what you say. I understand what you say, and I don't doubt either the sincerity or the other. He might have thought, well, I've been following this man for a number of years, but all of a sudden, I have reached a level of understanding which permits me to see that he's pretty human after all. And that beyond a certain point, he doesn't have anything to teach me.
He should have always known that he was human, and not having nothing to teach him.
Some people